For decades, China has been a shining example of economic growth. But what's the real story behind this boom? What methods were used? And why has the economy been struggling lately? Starting in the late 70s, China made economic changes that led to huge growth, making it the second largest economy in the world. This is where our analysis begins, and it's not your typical economist's take. Look at what's happening today. China's housing market has become a threat to its entire economy. The collapse of Evergrande shows just how much is at stake. China presents a confusing picture. Even though the government tries to control the market, housing prices have skyrocketed. This hurts not only people trying to buy homes, but the whole economy and society too. Despite the government's efforts to keep things under control, housing prices have continued to soar. Rules meant to cool the market, like requiring bigger down payments and limiting how many homes people can buy, haven't stopped speculation. Instead, they've actually made things worse by increasing the demand for investment properties. Rapidly rising prices are a clear sign of speculation. Investors are buying properties not to live in, but to sell later at a higher price. This is creating a housing bubble, and if it bursts, it could be disastrous for the economy. But China's experience teaches us a valuable lesson. It shows how government policies can have unexpected side effects and how speculation can mess up markets. But it also teaches us how we might lessen these effects. This accidentally shows us the potential benefits of reducing land speculation. By cutting down on speculation, we can create more green spaces and community areas, making life better for everyone. China's story isn't about easy answers. It shows us just how complicated housing problems are and how they're connected to other parts of society and the economy. This highlights the connection between land, housing, and economic growth. Decisions about land use and housing have a big impact on economic development and people's lives. This emphasizes the unintended consequences of policies like the one-child policy. This policy was meant to control population growth, but it had major side effects on the housing market, family structure, and the country's economic growth. Most importantly, it asks the question, what would happen if we got rid of speculation? Could we create a housing market that is fairer and more sustainable? China's experience suggests that it is possible, but it requires a careful and balanced approach. From 1979 to 2015, China had a one-child policy. This policy, one of the strictest and most controversial in modern history, aimed to control the rapidly growing population of the world's most populous country. Over the past few decades, China has experienced unprecedented economic development, with annual growth rates as high as 10%. As we'll see in this video, this phenomenon was influenced by the one-child policy implemented in 1979. This policy, designed to control population growth, had side effects that were very noticeable in the economic sphere. This policy, while meant to control population growth, had an unexpected impact on the real estate market. As birth rates declined, China's demographics began to shift dramatically. With fewer children, the demand for housing decreased. Families no longer needed bigger houses to accommodate multiple children, easing pressure on the real estate market. Many people inherited properties rather than buying new ones. This led to properties being passed down through generations, further lowering the demand for newly built homes. The decrease in demand provided a temporary relief to the market. Housing prices stabilized, and for a short time, real estate speculation lessened. Limiting population growth, reducing the demand for housing, led to a pause in real estate speculation. Under these circumstances of slower population growth, housing prices tended to stabilize, making housing more accessible to more citizens. This stability in real estate was essential to boosting other sectors of the economy. Additionally, the reduced population pressure and massive investment by people in new businesses allowed the Chinese government to invest in infrastructure and industrial development. Cities began to modernize, and new job opportunities emerged, drawing workers from rural areas to urban centers. This move not only boosted economic development but also improved the living standards of millions. Surprisingly but true, China paused real estate speculation, a short period compared to China's thousands of years of history, and housing became more affordable. Young families could buy homes without the pressure of high prices. However, this effect was short-lived. The one-child policy ended in 2015, and with the end of the policy, the dynamics of the real estate market began to shift once again. With the end of the policy and a growing economy, demand started to rise again. Families started having more children, and the need for larger homes re-emerged. The unexpected result? Scarcity fueled speculation, a stark reminder. Demand quickly outpaced supply, and housing prices began to rise again, ushering in a new era of speculation and challenges in the Chinese real estate market. Land, a super important natural resource, the foundation of our homes and our economy, is often treated like just another thing to buy and sell. This turns this vital resource into something traded for profit, where its value isn't about how it helps the community but how much money it can make. This commercialization breeds speculation. Investors buy land not to build on it, but to sell it later at a higher price. Land becomes less about being a resource for production and more about being a tool for making money. This creates a bad cycle where land prices are artificially inflated and its true purpose gets lost. This is where the path of progress goes off track. City development becomes uneven, with some areas booming while others are left behind, littered with unfinished buildings and even ghost towns. These all add up to a fragmented urban landscape. When speculation drives up land prices, housing becomes unaffordable. Families with low and middle incomes are forced to live far from their jobs, increasing commute times and lowering their quality of life. Businesses struggle to afford the rent they need to operate. High land costs increase operating expenses, which can lead to higher prices for consumers and fewer job opportunities. Innovation stalls. High startup costs make it difficult for new businesses and entrepreneurs to get off the ground, slowing down the development of new ideas and technologies. Economic growth stagnates. Speculation can create economic bubbles that, when they burst, lead to recessions and financial crises, impacting the whole of society. Untangling speculation from progress becomes really important and urgent. We need policies that encourage the effective use of land and make sure this vital resource benefits everyone, not just a select few. China's experience, even if unintentional, shows the power of accessible land. When land is easy to get, it can be used for productive activities. Businesses can thrive. People can afford their own homes. This boosts economic growth and social mobility. Think about it. If China was able to achieve a 10% annual growth rate just by pausing real estate speculation, imagine how much greater the economic growth would be without the negative impacts of land speculation. Imagine a world where land is a natural resource, a human right, not an asset for speculation, where the value of land lies in its potential to support businesses, families and communities. This isn't a utopian dream, it's a possibility within our reach. Part 5, a global housing crisis. Change is desperately needed. We are facing a global housing crisis. Millions of people don't have safe, affordable housing. These numbers are alarming. Half the world is without a home, half the world. This crisis affects every country and people of all income levels. Half of Americans don't have homes, half of Bolivians don't have homes, half of Spaniards don't have homes, half of Argentinians, Mexicans, Chileans, Peruvians, French, Russians, Ecuadorians, half the world. This is the harmful result of a system that puts profit before people. This crisis isn't just about bricks and mortar, it's about economic opportunity, social progress and human dignity. When people have decent housing, they can live better, work better and contribute more to society. Part 6. Breaking the land speculation cycle. To break the cycle of land speculation, we need to take bold steps. We have to change how we think about land. Land isn't just something to buy and sell. It's an important natural resource like oxygen or water that should be available to everyone. This requires new policies to reduce speculation and promote the responsible use of land. Now, let's talk about how to eliminate land speculation. While it seems like a complicated challenge, there are some effective measures that can be easily implemented. One of the most effective strategies to address this issue is to tax vacant land plots. This tax would be levied as if a house were already built on the land, encouraging owners to develop their land rather than leaving it idle, waiting for it to increase in value. Additionally, in rural areas, a unified tax can be applied based on the productive potential of the land rather than the current output. This approach not only promotes more efficient use of resources, but also ensures that owners contribute fairly to community development, regardless of their production methods. In short, eliminating land speculation is not impossible. Through measures like taxing vacant lots and a tax system based on productive potential, we can create a more equitable and sustainable environment. By taxing idle land, we encourage land use and development while eliminating real estate speculation, which can greatly boost economic activity. Entrepreneurs will be able to acquire land to start their projects, creating new businesses and jobs. Furthermore, this strategy will provide governments with more efficient and stable financial resources, enough to eliminate all taxes that are harmful to entrepreneurs. By simplifying the tax system to a single tax levied only on the net value of land, it can attract domestic and foreign investment, thus promoting national economic growth. In conclusion, eliminating taxes that affect entrepreneurs and replacing them with a tax on vacant lots is a proposal that can change the world economy. It is time to open the doors to innovation and development. These policies help ensure that land use benefits not just a few, but all of society. Part 7. A call for policy innovation. Every country's solution will be different. We need a global commitment to policy innovation. We need to explore new ideas, share best practices, and learn from each other's successes and failures. This isn't about copying China's model, it's about learning from its unintended consequences. The point is to understand that land policies have a huge impact on our economies and societies. Part 8. Towards a more equitable future. Reducing land speculation isn't just about money, it's about social fairness. The key is to create a more just future where everyone has a chance to get ahead. When land benefits everyone, we can create a fairer and more successful world. This is a call to action for all politicians, economists and citizens. Let's work together to unlock the power of land to benefit everyone. We must end land speculation or our entire economy could collapse because of it. Part 9. Imagine a world of endless possibilities. Imagine a world where everyone has a comfortable place to live. A world where businesses thrive and create lots of jobs. A world where everyone shares in the prosperity. If we change our relationship with land, we can create this world. Let's break free from the chains of speculation. Let's work together for a future where land is shared and everyone is happy and prosperous. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments. Let's build a better future together.